What is more important, dealing out justice or saving lives? That real-life question is playing out in the Allen County courts right now. Good evening. I'm Brett Thomas.
And I'm Heather Herron. The central question, can a homicide victim be an organ donor and still have the autopsy necessary to prosecute his or her killer? The Allen County prosecutor says no, but the Indiana Donor Network says yes.
And 15 finds out investigator Alyssa Ivinson spent months going through transcripts and talking with experts. Alyssa.
Well, there's a huge need in this country for organ donors. Dozens of people die every day waiting for a transplant to save their life. But when an organ donor becomes a homicide victim, it can get complicated.
We wanted the coroner to find out what killed our son. We did not want his killer to walk the streets ever again.
I'm glad that they did their donations because, you know, he saved a life.
2 homicides, both victims designated as organ donors, but one case turned into a controversy in court. October 25th, 2017, Brian Lowe Jr. was shot in the head while he was getting in a car on Lake Avenue. He was pronounced brain dead and put on life support at a hospital. The prosecutor's office got a search warrant for his body to perform an autopsy and confirm cause of death. But Brian was also a registered organ donor, and the Indiana Donor Network filed a lawsuit to delay the autopsy until after organ donation.
Had the Indiana Donor Network received Brian's body, the coroner could never have done his job to find out what actually killed Brian.
That's what the Lowe family says the prosecutor's office told them, and what the prosecutor argued in court. 15 Finds Out obtained the transcript of the hearing. Prosecutor Karen Richards tells the judge, quote, "If we allow organ procurement, then we cannot do a full and complete autopsy. If I say okay and can't prove a homicide case because I don't have a full and complete autopsy, then I'm answerable to the community for that." But the Indiana Donor Network attorneys argued a victim donating organs would not interfere with determining a cause of death, saying, quote, "We have cooperated with coroners for homicide investigations. In fact, it's happened in this county under the prosecutor's watch. This is not anything new. 69 homicide cases have allowed for organ procurement here in Indiana. In this county, 7 of those donors, but the judge cut him off, saying he would not hear any evidence in the hearing. The judge ultimately ruled in favor of the prosecutor and did not allow Brian Lowe Jr. to donate any organs. For the Lowe family, that legal battle, delaying their son's final breath, added more pain to an already devastating situation.
There should be some laws in place. If it's a criminal investigation, just back off. Back completely off. The family is going through enough.
Indiana law does say coroners have to work with organ procurement organizations, but they are not mandated to allow donation. At least 5 other states, though, have more strict laws that require coroners to perform autopsies in a way that is first compatible with organ donation.
It just caused us further pain and anguish that we shouldn't have been subjected to.
Why did the Donor Network fight so hard? Because of the Anatomical Gift Act, which requires someone's wish to be a donor to be upheld when they die, and the rarity of donors. OrganDonor.gov says only 3 in 1,000 people die in a way that allows for organ donation. Marion County Chief Deputy Coroner Alfarina Ballou says a handful of homicide cases every year in her county are also organ donation cases.
It has happened where forensic pathologists go right in at the time of the organ procurement at that time and make a decision on what can be procured or released for organ donation or not.
And that would be documented and hold up in court?
That would be documented and everything would be put in the case file. So if there are injuries, they're documented. The forensic pathologist could look at that, document everything, and it's used as part of the death investigation as evidence.
Even though Brian Lowe Jr. appeared to have died from a gunshot wound to the head, and the suspect was arrested and confessed to the crime, an official cause of death is still needed to prosecute his killer. Sometimes the way someone died is not what you would assume. In the hearing, prosecutor Karen Richards used the example of a baby who died a few days before Brian Lowe. Doctors ruled the death as SIDS, but an autopsy discovered something different, turning the death into a homicide case.
In this autopsy, that they found a hole in his brain from blunt force trauma, from where he got his head hit off the wall. Like, hearing that about your 3-month-old son, like, that's heartbreaking on so many levels.
What Richards did not say in court was that baby Ziathan donated his organs before that autopsy.
That 4-month-old baby girl that has his heart, like, she could like do something great in life, and just knowing my son's heart is what's keeping her going. It's like a blessed feeling.
A grand jury indicted the baby's father on 1 count of murder. 15 finds out traveled to Paulding County, Ohio, where his trial will be in May.
Did the organ donation in any way hinder the autopsy results?
Not really, because the organs that they used as far as donations were not part of the, I guess, the cause of death.
And you have no concerns with the autopsy results now holding up in court as a cause of death?
No, I mean, we've got a really good coroner from Fort Wayne that actually did the autopsy. They're 110% sure, based upon what they saw, that the blunt force trauma was the cause of death. So we're pretty good that way.
Ziathan's mom, Destiny, is grateful both procedures worked for her baby boy. His hospital band on his foot, to her, a symbol of her son making a difference.
You know how heroes wear capes? To me, that was his cape.
Every homicide case is different, and organ donation is not always possible. But the discussion usually doesn't go all the way to the courtroom, like it did in October.
Ultimately, what it comes down to is communication. We have the prosecutor, we have the organ donation organization, we have the forensic pathologist, and the coroner. So everybody communicates in terms of what are the benefits, what are going to be some of the challenges, and what can we do to sort of streamline things so that we don't have those types of challenges.
But it is possible to have organ donation and an autopsy cause of death.
Yes.
That would hold up in a criminal court.
Yes.
The man accused of killing Brian Lowe Jr. will go to trial on April 10th. But this case about organ donation is also still open. That's why the Allen County Prosecutor's Office, the Coroner's Office, and Judge Levine all declined to comment to us for this story. The Indiana Donor Network also declined an interview, but sent us this statement saying, quote, "It is our hope that this lawsuit will begin to forge a basis from which we can better work with Allen County to save lives." Now, the next hearing for this case is October 18th. We've also posted the entire transcript from that first interview. You can hear more of the arguments on both sides right now on Wayne.com.
3 decades ago today, 8-year-old April Tinsley was found dead in DeKalb County. She was abducted while walking to a friend's house in Fort Wayne. And tonight, family and friends are remembering her with a balloon launch. News Channel 15's Alyssa Ivinson is live at April's Memorial Garden, where the ceremony just got started. Good evening, Alyssa.
April's Garden full of people this afternoon here at the corner of Hoagland and Masterson, all with balloons to remember a little girl whose life was cut short 30 years ago. The balloons, pink, purple, and blue, her favorite colors. Many never knew her, but they know her story. And the detectives still working her case are not giving up hope that they will find her killer.
Years.
I can't believe it's gone this long.
10,950 days.
It's hard not knowing. That's the main thing that hurts the most, is you don't know who did it, why he did it.
Now, Janet Tinsley sits in April's garden.
She was my pride and joy. She was shy, bashful. She was more like me.
Dreaming of a future that can never be.
I think about what it'd be like to have her sitting next to me. What would she be doing now? And what she would look like. Just remember back when she was little, and then I'll sit there and sometimes I'll talk to her.
April Marie didn't have the chance to grow up.
When I had to go and identify her. It's like you're thinking you wish it was you there and not her. Because, I mean, it took a lot from me.
April 1st, 1988. 8-year-old April Tinsley was walking home from a friend's house on Hoagland Avenue.
The 2 houses from here to here, that's where she was gone in that short of period.
Abducted, found sexually molested and suffocated 3 days later in a DeKalb County ditch. Her killer never named.
He took pretty much my whole life.
Over the last 3 decades, dozens of detectives worked countless hours.
It's a massive investigation with multiple agencies.
700 suspects.
It's been a roller coaster. You get an individual who gets called in and it looks like it could be a good suspect, and then they're ultimately ruled out.
It's frustrating, definitely frustrating, just knowing that you just got to move on to the next tip.
More than 800 pieces of evidence.
I thought it was a very solvable case because we have DNA. A lot of times you don't have the evidence you need.
But even with the evidence and 30 years of investigating, police still don't know who killed April Tinsley.
Somebody has hopefully firsthand knowledge of what happened. It's time to come forward.
Over the years, new evidence would surface, taunting police. First in 1990, 2 years after the crime, the barn writings. "I kill 8-year-old April Marie," scrawled in chicken scratch handwriting on the side of a barn. Then the notes, 4 of them, found in 2004. The same handwriting, the same message. "I am same person that kidnapped and raped and killed April Tinsley." Then the bedspread in the background of a picture left with the notes. Detectives say they know it was the killer because other evidence found with the notes had DNA that matched the suspect's DNA found on a sex toy near April's body. A Virginia-based company even used the DNA evidence to come up with a sketch of what the killer may look like.
When we do have DNA in this case, it's only a matter of time before we find the person that's responsible for this.
And you're confident that will happen?
Yes.
The case attracted national attention, featured on America's Most Wanted in 2009 and 2012, and Crime Watch Daily in 2016, each time bringing new hope. Each time the case grew cold again. But police aren't backing down. No, far from it. Detectives from Fort Wayne Police, Allen County Sheriff's Department, State Police, and the FBI still meet every month.
Discuss how we're going to follow up new leads, new suspects, and anything new that might have come up in the case.
Law enforcement is still fully engaged. We still care about this case, and we're going to keep working and hopefully until it's solved.
That list of 700 suspects narrowed down to 100.
Our suspect could be on that list.
30 years after the crime, the killer could be dead, but police say it's not too late for someone to come forward.
If somebody has a family member or somebody that they know of that said something about this case, maybe even in what I would refer to as maybe a deathbed confession or a deathbed statement that they felt was odd or seemed weird to them, but they dismissed or didn't want to believe, and it involved April's case, we would love to know about it.
Finding closure for the family keeps the detectives motivated.
You put yourself in those situations or those shoes, and you'd want somebody doing it for your family. So I think it's pretty easy to get going again.
As the family tries to hold on to hope that it can one day happen.
All I want is somebody from his side of the family to come and say, "I'm sorry." If they can give me that, and then that'd be a little bit more closure for me.
While they wait for that day, a memorial in the Tinsley living room keeps their daughter with them.
Every morning when I get up, I say hello. When I go to bed, I say good night. And then when it gets to like her birthday and everything, I'll be saying happy birthday.
And sometimes sitting in the garden, April's garden.
There's a white butterfly flies over here on a certain flower all the time.
She,
April's angel,
might visit them.
Take a look at the picture of the bedspread again. Police wanted us to draw your attention to it again. Think hard. Have you ever seen this anywhere? Do you recognize the pattern? If you do at all, even a little bit, call Fort Wayne Police, because what seems like the smallest piece of information could be the missing link to turn this cold case into a closed case. Live in Fort Wayne, Alyssa Ivinson for 15 Finds Out.